The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast, where Skip and DJ And What interview guests and discuss topics such as business, current events, and pop culture. The motivational podcast for the hip-hop millennial.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm your host, Skip. Today, I'm going to be joined by Mike and our guest host, Tamaya Allen. Today, we're going to be interviewing LaShaundra Wack, owner of Wack Me Vegan. LaShaundra, how are you doing today?
Good morning. How are you? I cannot complain.
Great, and that's always a good thing. So, if you could, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, like he said, my name is LaShaundra. I'm owner of Wack Me Vegan, 35 years old. I have a beautiful, soon-to-be 13-year-old daughter. I am a country girl. I am from Manning. I don't know if many of y'all know where that's at, but it is
Yes.
country. You blink, you might miss it. But I grew up very much of the earth. I'm a tree hugger. I love outside. I love all things of the earth. I feel like everything is needed to help the whole planet keep on moving. So
like my kind of people.
yeah. Yeah, some of my interests, I like to be outside, museums, skating, cooking, of course, just being around family, friends. I'm pretty simple person.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Manning, I do know where Manning is. Manning, you guys are the Monarchs, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough, some
I think
teams.
back in yeah, I know about Manning. I'm from Marion originally.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's like football country. Down towards that way. You got to know. You know them by the teams. You know the towns by the teams.
Yeah, yeah. We used to have some good team. I don't know exactly how well they're doing now with COVID and all that stuff, but we used to have some good teams came through Manning back in the day.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I know one of the things, and of course, this episode is essentially about eating.
Yes.
And of course, everyone decides what they eat or they don't eat for different reasons. Sometimes it could be cultural, depending on how you grew up, and sometimes it could just be ethical concerns, such as like animals suffering, or it could be like religious or spiritual. And then often it's just about health and people just trying to do what's right for them. Have you always been a vegan, or is it something that you came to over time? And could you just tell us a little bit about your journey?
No, I haven't always been vegan. Like I said, I grew up in Manning country. I've seen it all. Kind of grew up slightly on the farm, growing pigs, goats, chickens, cows. So no, I wasn't always vegan. I'll be vegan 3 years in November. So this is a lifestyle that has came about over time. I would say probably about 9 years ago, I made up my mind to stop eating pork. And the reason why I did that was I grew up on it, everything, but I was starting to cook it on my own and was getting like really bad headaches.
Mm.
And so I was like, I'm wondering where these headaches are coming from. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna cut out pork, not realizing how much pork is in so many different things. So you cut out, I mean, it's in Skittles,
Ooh.
Oh,
Cheetos.
wow. I didn't know that.
Pork is in I talked to some people when you mentioned something about religious or ethnical backgrounds. I would talk to Muslims to find out pork is in, there's some combs and gels, hair products, different things they can't use because pork byproducts are in it.
Oh,
So you'll be surprised how much pork is in things. So that caused me to cut out, oh my goodness, probably 85% of what my normal diet was.
mm.
And in doing that, I noticed I felt better. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop eating meat in general, not knowing that it was going to take years later. But yeah, I did wound up working for this lady. If y'all are looking for some good raw food, vegan food, is Rawtopian Bliss off of Two Notch. I started working for her, and that's how my vegan journey started. And it's been a wonderful journey and lifestyle since then.
Awesome, awesome. Of course, there are a lot of terms to describe different plant-based diets. And for a lot of people, those things can be confusing. So could you take a moment just to explain the differences between what is a vegan versus a vegetarian or a pescatarian, and then like other diets that might be relevant to this discussion?
Well, the vegan diet is no animals whatsoever.
Including milk and cheese, right?
Yeah, that's including milk and cheese as well. All your milks and cheeses are going to be plant based, they're going to come from a plant. Vegetarians, they don't eat meat, but they still eat cheese, milk, eggs, different things like that. Pescatarians, they have where they eat seafood. So they don't eat chicken, they don't eat beef, pork, but they will indulge in seafood and eggs, milk, and stuff like that as well. For your plant-based diet, that's basically vegan, plant-based. Everything you eat is from plants. It's made out of some type of plant or fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The raw vegan diet is where 90% you don't cook your food. So all your food is going to be raw. It's different ways you can make food raw. Like let's say you wanted to do a taco, raw vegan probably would ground up some pecans or walnuts into like a meat substance and season it the way they want. They won't cook it and add all kind of veggies and fruits, and stuff to it. You're basically not cooking your food on a raw diet. And to me, in my opinion, I'm not completely raw, but that's one of the best ones feeling wise to me in my personal journey of being vegan.
I've started experimenting with that myself a lot lately, just kind of for digestion help. like you have all of these natural enzymes and things that are on the plants. And if you're growing it out of your garden, I don't even wash it sometimes. I just
Right.
make sure there's no dust and bugs on it, and it's delicious and kind of helps your body start breaking it down before you even get it into your guts.
It does. And when you mention about, homegrown, plants and different things, you can completely tell the difference in the flavor, in the taste, in the texture of stuff you grow at home versus what you buy at the store. Not saying that they're not growing it, but they're adding a lot of things to it. So like you said, all those enzymes and stuff, like not washing it completely off and stuff, you're getting all those nutrients when you eat it raw. And you're, like you said, by the time it hits your tongue, you can just feel it. It's healing your body from the inside out, most definitely.
One of the things I want to kind of go back to that you mentioned, I thought was really interesting, the tacos, the raw diet tacos.
Yes.
I know you said, you can use the pecans for meat. So what do you usually do with the actual shell, or the outside of the taco? What is that? Yeah, the wrap.
Oh, you can use romaine lettuce. You can use red leaf lettuce, green leaf. Iceberg is, not the most of nutritious, out of all the green lettuce and stuff, but it can be used as a wrap as well. It tends to hold the stuff a little better, but you can use all kind of spinach wraps. It's all kind of ways you can do your lettuce wraps for your raw base.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, that does sound pretty good, especially when you mention it, like, because it kind of reminds me I forgot the name of the dish. It's not a vegetarian dish, but I know it's an Asian dish where they do the wraps.
The chicken lettuce wraps.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what that reminded me of. When she said that, I was like, okay, I can see it now. Because I think sometimes when people think about, like vegetarian or vegan foods, it's like people, we're used to certain staples in our food. So, like with the breads, the flours, just certain things like starches and stuff, or things that when it comes to them normally being made or processed, they have animal products in them. So when we hear about people making something, we're like, so how are they going to, like with cookies, for example, right? People are like, how are they going to sit up here and make these cookies if cookies need milk in them? This does, or butter in them. This doesn't make sense, right? And it goes through your head, and you're like, try to calculate these ways people put these things together. And that was something that I got just from what you were saying. And it's neat how once someone explains it to you and breaks it down to you, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense how you can eat it that way. And I can see the benefits of eating it that way too. And so that's something that I thought was really encouraging.
That's a good point, especially in the South. A lot of the reason we eat things is like comfort food. We're trying to remember those moments in our life when that food was making us feel happy and loved and stuff. And
exactly.
When you start changing your diet, sometimes you've got to like drop off some of these things.
Exactly.
My wife quit eating mammals, and so like that kind of stopped me from eating mammals. For us, it was more like, pigs are very smart animals. Like they're smarter than dogs.
Yeah.
And I think for her, it was much more of an ethical kind of thing that, some of these creatures, especially in the industrialized food culture in America, like they are treated horribly for their entire lives. And that negativity just kind of ends up in the food,
Yeah, it's a lot to that. And like I said, I grew up with my dad raising pigs. So I was a little girl back then. So like how you said about them being smart and different things, we would take sticks and scratch their backs and rub their bellies. And it was kind of like we were spoiling them only to hurt them, eat them later. So think about the ones who are treated badly. I'm not saying this, oh, you want to treat your hog good before you kill. Like, I'm not saying that as well. But when you think about side of it where they're treated badly, I can't say that I'm like most vegans that are, there are some vegans like, who are very strong willed on the animal part of it. My journey is just beginning. But like I said, I grew up a country girl, so always had a love for animals and always kind of believed that they were like us, just a different species. So,
right.
It's kind of how you take it,
So that brings up a good point that, a lot of people in the vegan community have a problem with any product that comes from an animal, even if the animal's not hurt, like wool, it's not really a food, but you got to keep sheep to get it. And then some people even have a big problem with honey,
right?
Because you are keeping the bees, and from, I come from kind of a permaculture, homegrown organic background, and like bees are like crucial. Like we need more bees, and I'm interested in keeping bees just to do that. How do you feel on some of these matters that are like, like the animal might be cared for responsibly? Is for you, is it just a health kind of thing, or do you think we shouldn't be using animals for our own devices at all?
There are parts of me that do believe that as well. Just like I said, how I grew up with the bees, the population of bees is decreasing rapidly. Bees pollinate and help us breathe, help us things grow. So most definitely, when I first became vegan, I didn't know about the whole honey thing. And when I started reading about it, I tried to stop using it, more so use agave or maple syrup in place of for your sugar replacement. So basically, with doing your research, anything that an animal that you use, that an animal does, you can find vegan, that a plant can do the very same thing. So like I said, I'm the type that if I see a mosquito in the house, I try to fan it outside.
Ooh.
If a spider is in the house, I try to take a broom. I try to take a broom and sweep it on the dustpan and take it outside.
Yeah.
I truly do believe that animals are like us. Like I said, you think about dogs, they're man's best friend. You think about, I remember Ellen DeGeneres said one time, this was back on her vegan journey, and I heard her talking about it. She said she was at this house. This is when she was one of her lowest moments. She was poor, and she was laying in this basement, and it was full of fleas. But she was like, in one moment, she thought, she's like, even these fleas have a purpose here. So if you can think of something as tiny as the aggravating flea, they have a purpose. We all have a purpose here on this planet. So yeah, like I said, I'm not as strong as some people. I kind of do believe as my vegan journey continues, it probably will get more and more stronger on the aspect of that. But yeah,
Sound like you on that Brahmin path.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that I kind of just want to move forward with, and I know this is something, I guess a lot of people tend to, whenever you bring forth the idea of being vegan, being vegetarian, plant-based, they bring forth the idea that when they cut the meats out the diet, right? They want to know, will they get enough protein? Or are they going to have to deal with like any like nutritional deficiencies? Because one of the things that has been taught, especially in Western society, especially over like the past maybe like 50, 60 years, is the importance of meat in your diet, right? So you watch think about it, when we watch TV.
Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Exactly. Pork, the other white meat, right?
Yeah.
And then even a lot of times now, even going into now, like modern days with social media, with like the whole foodie movement, you have so many elements like where meat is forefront and center of the meal. Like you go to this awesome place up in the mountains somewhere, they give you this big piece of meat, right? That comes straight off the farm. It's locally sourced, local, and then you got all these vegetables that are around it. But really, it's all about that meat in the middle, right? So for those people, how would you just explain to them, are they still being able to get the nutrition that they would normally get from eating meat, from just eating a balanced diet directly from plants?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most vegans, they always bring up the gorilla and how strong and big it is, and all it eats is plants all day. I've seen personally a person of mine that has been vegan for 2 years. They have worked out their entire lives and never got a six pack until they became. There's so many different things that has protein in it. Lentils. It's about 18 grams of protein per serving of that. You got quinoa, which is a grain. It's a type of substitute for rice. That's got about 8 grams of protein in it, depending on how much you eat
And
of it.
quinoa is delicious.
It is.
It
yeah,
is.
and then
If y'all have not tried quinoa, it is delicious, and
It is.
it's native to the Americas,
Mhm.
so it's an indigenous food.
Right.
It's great.
Right. And let's say you have a bowl of quinoa, you put some black beans. Beans have a lot of protein, about 8 grams of protein per serving. So you take that quinoa that's like 18 grams, you put those black beans on top of it, you season those. You can even put some lentils on it. And then you got this big old bowl of protein. So for those that are thinking that you have to have meat in order to get these proteins, now don't get me wrong, there's your B12s, you have your that what people think beef has in it, that you can't get your B12. So you got your bananas. When I first started vegan, there was a time where I got deficient in my potassium. I could feel like my fingertips, they would be cold and kind of like numb. So I started doing my research. I read up, why is this happening? Come to find out, I wasn't having enough B12 or potassium in my diet. So therefore, I went and bought some more bananas, some more spinach. Your green leaves are definitely going to pack a lot of iron, calcium, folic acids. The vegan life is not boring. You do your research, and it's for every person. Some people may need to eat more, to feel filled, and so you just add more, especially a person who works out. Now, a person who doesn't work out on a regular basis, I would not recommend eating a whole lot of protein in your diet, because that still can add weight to you as well. So like I said, it's a balance, and everyone has to learn their balance. And you'll get to the point with being vegan where your body will start telling you, listen, I need this. Can you go make me a green juice, please? Can you go snack on some celery for me? I need some strength. I need some energy. So it's definitely a lifestyle, definitely a journey, but you most definitely can still get everything from meat. You can still get from plants and fruits and veggies and stuff.
It's interesting when you were saying that. I was kind of remembering back to high school and like physical science and biology, and I remember them talking about how, like the energy of all of this stuff is coming from the sun, and the plants are then photosynthesizing it and turn it into some kind of organic store of that energy. And if we're eating the animals that eat the plants, then we're getting that second hand. And then if we were to eat a predator that ate one of those animals, we'd be getting a third hand, which is why we don't really eat predators.
Right.
Because there's no energy left.
Right.
And that's, it's something that we kind of forget about, but like the plants get it first.
Right. Most definitely.
That should be everybody's slogan.
Right.
The plants get it first.
Get it first. Eat the plants. They get it first.
Yeah.
T-shirt available on the store.
Drops promo.
I know. But yeah, but like you said, I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand either. Even if someone were to eat a diet, let's say just like your classic omnivore-based diet, right? There's nutrients that your body's still going to need. Like somebody can eat a diet and they can have, they can eat diet and they can eat all the meat they want, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be getting everything else they need to get. So you still have to have the mindset of, I need to make sure that every nutrient that my body needs in order to be healthy, in order to remain strong, that I'm able to get. It doesn't necessarily matter what diet that I might be on, but that's something that's a consideration everybody should have. And just meat isn't going to do it alone.
Right. Right. One of the things I was, my background is in nursing. One of my favorite classes was nutrition. I would be tripping in class and I would say the creator literally created our bodies to heal itself. It just depends on what you put in it. Literally, when they did the pyramid and telling you should have this amount of fruit, you should have this amount of this amount of that, what coincides with this, how you're not supposed to eat fruits and vegetables together, that the acidity in your stomach won't process both of them together for it to process through the body correctly.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fruit and veg together all the time.
Yeah. So let's say you want to eat a salad. Yeah. So how like if you do a smoothie, some people might say, oh, I'm gonna put spinach, banana, pineapple, let me throw some hemp seed in there. It's best if you're going to do a smoothie just to do a plain vegetable smoothie with no fruits in it. or plain fruit smoothie with no veggies.
Oh.
Your body, your liver, your organs will process it better than mixing all those different acidities and stuff up. Dr. Sebi talks about alkaline diet. And basically, the less acid you have in your body, the healthier you are. And a lot of these meats and different things, processed food, carry a lot of acid, which produces mucus in the body, which makes us feel bad. So, like I tell people, I'm not saying that the vegan life is the only way. It's the only way, but from my personal experience and the ones who have been on the journey with, you feel better. You're healing your body from the inside out.
Exactly.
Like he said, plants get it first. Plants get it first. That's going to be a slogan. I'm going to use that, Mike. Plants get it
Please do.
Hashtag.
I'm all about it.
That should be hashtag.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I guess just kind of segueing into another part of our discussion, I know one of the things that's really big now, because we do quote unquote live in the future, is we have all kinds of meat substitutes now and things that, give us that feeling of eating a burger or steak. But of course, a lot of these products are very extremely processed and industrialized. Just in your opinion, do you think these faux meats are helpful to people looking for comfort foods they grew up with, or should they be focusing on trying to make healthy foods our new comfort foods?
I guess I do use some of the faux meats, as you say. Once again, I'm going to go back to my personal experience throughout my vegan journey. And I do eat some of the faux meats as well now, but when I first started, I was raw, completely raw. The benefits of a raw diet versus still eating the comfort faux things to give people that comfort of what you're eating. I will say that I prefer a person to indulge in these faux meats and comfort foods to get away from the meat. But as your journey continues and and you grow in your lifestyle and your journey, I would most definitely say cut that out too, because it's still processed. Certain faux meats that I use, different ones, certain ones I don't like. It may, like one of the burgers I may use for my vegan burgers, it literally turns red in the pan. So it's like, what dye, what are you putting in here to make it look like this hamburger meat so I'm visually okay?
Yeah.
Science.
It's safe. It's safe. It turns red. It's safe.
Yes, look at how it looks. It looks like so those type of things do bother me a little bit. And I tell people my recipes are definitely going more and more raw as I continue. I'm doing my research. I've been so busy. Whack Me Vegan, once again, people, Whack Me Vegan. It's been really picking up. So time is a issue. But I'm working on definitely going more to the raw stuff where I'm making stuff raw. So you're not buying this processed stuff out the store. And it does do the body way better as well. So like I said, the comfort part, the faux meats, it is what it is. And like I said, most people need that texture or that visual stimulation to make them think that I'm still eating meat. And if that's what you need to get off that diet, then I'm going to pat you on your back a little bit. As you continue in your journey, and that's what I tell people, once you continue and you start the lifestyle on the vegan journey, your body is going to start not wanting things that it used to. Your taste buds suffer. You might eat something like, oh my goodness, this is so sweet. I don't want this anymore. Your body will be like, why are you doing this to us? Can you please go back? Can you go get that lettuce, please? It's not boring.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
Interesting.
I can vouch for that personally. I just went, changing the diet. You start craving the things that your body needs instead of the things that you used to like. It's almost like the more you pay attention to it, the more your body pays attention to it and tells you back what it needs.
It does.
Yeah, I can attest to that also. I'm her like taste tester. I taste everything. So I get the benefits of Whack Me Vegan all day, every day. LaShaundra is amazing. But after eating salad so much, she just reminded me how much I like onions, tomatoes, bell peppers, and I love nuts, all type of nuts. I just put anything on my salad, and she has done that for me. And then I take it into my household and introduce it to the people in my household, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I would like salad so much. I didn't realized I like greens so much. Yeah, it's been so long, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my slogans is, I mean to punch you in the taste buds.
Ooh.
And what I mean is, most people think that vegan food is bland, is boring. Because I am a country girl, I come from seasoning. I want some taste. I want some flavor in my food. So I bring that to my vegan lifestyle. I use many different herbs and seasonings. I don't even use salt anymore. If I do, it's Himalayan pink salt. Paprika. It's so many different coriander. It's so many different seasonings where you can jazz this food up, and people will be like, "Oh my good, I never knew. I never knew." So, most definitely,
we're still talking about just like seasonings, just using different types of foods, but specifically fake meat or lab grown meat.
The Franken meats.
So earlier, well, yes, you can go ahead and explain it if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've been kind of following for a while because I'm kind of a nerd and not kind of, totally a nerd. Basically, for a while now, people have been experimenting with taking like cells cultured from meat tissue and growing them into a lab, into like a chunk of meat that never was attached to a brain or the rest of the animal. It's just a lab-grown chunk of meat. I'm not going to bias y'all with my personal opinion on this, but I found out the other day doing research for this that Singapore has now been the first place to approve sale of this, and it's gonna start hitting the market. Little chicken nuggets made in a lab.
Oh wow!
And I mean that kind of alleviates the ethical concerns for some people, but then your digestive health and kind of trying to eat what we're supposed to be eating, quote unquote, is kind of in a different bag. So I was kind of wondering how you felt about those kind of.
I don't think I'm with that. That's almost, I mean, you kind of going into the cloning type of deal there. And I'm not a big religious person to a certain aspect, but I'm very spiritual. I very do believe in the creator and God and a higher power, and man-made things are meant to fail. Not meant to, I don't want to say that like be pessimistic and things, but nah, no telling. That's just like the different meats and stuff they make now. Like I asked my dad not too long ago. I said, Daddy, I said, when you was a boy, when y'all was raising a pig, how long did it take for this pig from time it got here to the time it was time, to be slaughtered or whatever? He said at least a year. They're manufacturing stuff way quicker now. So it's pretty much the same thing that they're injecting into these meats and stuff now to make them grow big. What is that doing to our body? So that's pretty much the same thing. Like you said, it may help somebody ethical wise, but what is that chemical type deal doing to your body? So no, to each his own, but no.
I feel like I'm kind of inclined to agree with you on that one.
And I can see why, because really, you think about it, you really aren't going to know the impact of those types of foods until maybe like 15, 20, even 30 years down the road. You really aren't going to know because it's such a new technology. Because essentially it's a technology. It's not nutrition, it's technology.
Right.
And so because of that, you aren't going to really know that impact until at least a generation from now for people who may have grown up eating that. Now, I get the reason why they're doing it because, you have people have the need because they make for economic mobility purposes. They say generally like people who are in well-to-do countries who make more incomes, have a higher standard of living, they tend to eat more meat because of the cost that it takes to produce meat versus vegetables, plants and vegetables, right?
Of course, we also got more cancer and obesity and all that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing they don't talk about, right? So I could see why people would feel the need. Well, we need to go ahead and make some fake meat in the lab because we're going to have more people in the world, and these people are going to eventually want nice things, and those include meat. But we might not be able to give them real meat, so let's give them this fake meat. But nobody, like you said, nobody wants to find out what this fake meat's going to do to them. Right. And I think that's the sad thing about it. But like I said, that was just an amazing question. That was something that blew my mind when I read it because I heard about it a couple years ago, but I didn't know like people were actually starting to put this stuff into the marketplace.
Wow.
It's here.
Yeah. And so I guess just to kind of switch gears, let's just kind of bring it back to the source. If you could just tell us a little bit about Whack Me Vegan and what you offer.
Well, Whack Me Vegan started pretty much 2 years ago, 2019, I think, towards the end of 2019. So
right in time for COVID.
Yeah,
yes.
So pre-COVID, it started pre-COVID. I would say COVID hasn't it's impacted it to the point where a lot of people want to know that they're getting good food and know where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. So COVID really hasn't affected my business, and maybe, a lot of people knew how I was pre-COVID, so they kind of just, trust my process, and I wear masks and try to keep, you do the normal things you always do, pre-COVID. You wash your hands. You just do what you're supposed to do. So COVID actually probably has helped the business because a lot of people have been home. A lot of people have been doing research, and a lot of people are seeing that wanting to change in their life and in their lifestyle and how they eat. So a lot of people are being more open to being vegan. My business offers meal preps, meaning like if you're a person that's on the go and, you tend to, I'll stop at this fast food restaurant real quick. I'll make meals for you that are fresh where you can have them for 5 or 7 days. Mm-hmm. You can warm them up and they taste just freshly made them. That way you can just grab it and go.
Awesome.
I meals Monday through Friday. My page is on Facebook. It's Whack Me Vegan. Also on Instagram, Whack Me Vegan. I post daily what I'm prepping for the next day. Monday through Friday. Like Mondays is usually a salad. Tuesdays is Taco Tuesday. So I dibble and dabble with the leaf tacos. Like I did leaf tacos last week. I'm trying to introduce people into the more of a raw diet that is still good. Okay. So I'm gradually easing people into it. So yeah, that's Monday through Friday.
If I wanted to order something, I would just go on and DM you. Is that kind of how it works?
Yes, you can go on Whack Me Vegan. It'll allow you to DM me and you let me know. And most times once you DM me, I'll give you my personal number. And sometimes I pretty much like to chat with people. I like to know what your journey is, what you're trying to accomplish.
Nice.
Whether this is, because I'm really big about doing community and really trying to make this a lifestyle for people. It is about a business, but I want my business to make a lifestyle for people. So I'm also willing to coach people. I've gone to grocery store to help people shop for different things. I've done several Zooms where I can show you how to cook things. So I'll give you a list. Go to the grocery store, get this. Let me show you how to cook it. Because I want people to know that vegan is not boring. It's an easy lifestyle as well. And you'll be surprised at all the different things you can put together. And I want to show you that. So my business offers a variety of different things. It just depends on what you're trying to do. And I'm very big on talking to a person, asking them what they like, what they don't like, what you're trying to do. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to make this a lifestyle. Or you just trying to make this I want to talk to you and try to make this a lifestyle for people, most definitely, especially in the Black community. There's so much heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. There's so much different things out here that's killing us. And it's so simple about just changing a few things in your diet to help heal you from the inside out. That's another one of my slogans. I want my food to heal you from the inside out.
Yeah, and I noticed one of the things that you mentioned too is just like your desire to bring awareness of vegan food choices to the African American community. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we've researched is, of course, there's been a trend of people incorporating more plant-based foods into their diets, or just becoming vegan or vegetarian. And particularly, African Americans seem to be the fastest growing segment of the plant-based population. So people have cited just the influence of musicians and entertainers as kind of motivating people or driving people in that direction. I know Jay-Z and Beyonce did the thing about that in regards to people coming out to their concerts at one time. Mm-hmm. And I know there's other artists that have done things as well who've switched over to vegan or vegetarian lifestyles. In your opinion, what do you think caused those shifts in eating choices, and how has that shift even impacted your business?
I think people are waking up a little bit. And, when celebrities, jump on, some things, people tend to jump on the bandwagon a little bit more. But I think maybe I wouldn't say celebrities have more insight or quicker insight to certain things than us, but I think they kind of do.
Correct.
So once they kind of jump on and get into a lifestyle, most people, they're celebrities, people kind of look up to them. So it's like, oh, if they're doing it, let me do it, which is good because they're introducing them to a good lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's helped my business because a lot of people, like I said, are waking up. I think in the African American community, people are losing family members. There's cancer out here, like I said, the blood pressure, the heart disease, people are seeing the generational of, if my mom has it, then and my grandma and my granddaddy had it, then maybe if it's just waking up the lifestyle and changing to be healthier. And I think people are waking up and just wanting to be healthier and live longer, especially in the world we're in today. It's so chaotic. Anything could happen. So if you can at least be healthy, I think people are waking up to that, and celebrities being big influencers. One of my favorite influencers is Jaden Smith. He has a food truck out in LA that feeds to the homeless, which is another project that I'm working on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, another project I'm working on is bringing vegan to the homeless community as well. Just Water is it's a spring water, but it's made in a plant-based container. He also works with them. I want to work with them. The water is delicious if y'all have never had it. Just Water.
Wait, it's amazing. You can make a bottle out of plants?
It's a plant-based bottle.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yes. And you can find it at Kroger. I think Whole Foods has it. I haven't seen it. I think Publix has it. I haven't seen it in Walmart or anything like that yet, but it's in a blue bottle. Just Water. It's delicious, but it's contributing to the plant-based community. And his proceeds for that just goes to different organizations for animals and different things like that. So yeah, I applaud the celebrities who are joining and being influencers, most definitely.
I know one of the things people kind of do when it comes to healthy eating is they don't really associate it with lifestyle or just overall wellness, but they associate healthy eating specifically with dieting and weight loss. Meaning, like, people think about it like, I'm gonna eat healthy because I'm gonna get my body ready for my beach body, or this is my New Year's resolution, I'm gonna lose weight. And so as a result, healthy eating is seen as a short-term activity. What is the importance of healthy eating from a long-term perspective? And what can we do to reinforce and incorporate healthier eating habits into our lives?
That's another question I always ask. What is your journey? What are you trying to accomplish? And I tell people that my journey, vegan, started, almost 3 years ago, but my healthy lifestyle journey started 9 years ago. At one point, I was like 250 pounds. I'm like 170 now. We're a size 22. I'm like a size 8 now. But I tell people this was a lifestyle. This was a journey. It did not happen overnight. So I express to people lifestyle so much, journey, lifestyle so much, because it can be hard. You can slip, you can fall, but if you have a purpose and a journey and a lifestyle that you're trying to reach, that's the best way. So if you're just saying, oh, I want to get summer ready, I'm just going to eat these salads today, you need to create a lifestyle, because you might lose those few pounds, but you go back and you're going to gain that weight 10 times more. Because you're going to go back in it. It's a journey. It's a lifestyle. And I really do implement that a lot, or try to put big emphasis on that this is not something that I've worked on overnight. This has literally been a lifestyle change. And so I tell people, even if you don't stop eating meat in general, you asked about trying to start a healthy lifestyle. If you can just make a commitment one day a week, you know what? Some people call it meatless Mondays. If you can just make a commitment. Once you make the commitment, your body is going to do the rest. I promise you. Like Mike was saying, he noticed once you start a lifestyle and a journey, your body's going to crave it. So it's all about just getting started.
Now you mentioned your weight loss, but aside from that, like how do you feel every day? Have you noticed a significant like just quality of life improvement?
Oh yes, most of I have. You know, when you get past 30, stuff start to ache and carry on. You know,
don't it? Oh my God!
Facts.
Take you a little bit longer to get up in the mornings. You know, your knees ache.
Facts.
You know, when you say, "Do I feel better overall?" Absolutely. You think about how when you eat meat and stuff, how heavy you feel, how drained you feel. I might not can't, hop up like a 19-year-old, but you best believe I don't feel like I'm in my 30s. My joints don't bother me. Energy wise, like I said, your body will start telling you if you drink green juices in the morning, like if you prep yourself instead of eating a big breakfast, get you some lukewarm water, some lime, drink that, hydrate your body, drink you a smoothie after that, hydrate your body. It gives you so much energy. Yes, absolutely. I feel different. And if I tend to feel drained, like let's say, I don't know when the last time I got a cold, when the last time I got sick. I never was a really person to get sick anyway, even before being vegan. But the lifestyle change, your body feels the slightest little bit of difference. Like, girl, go get you some oranges. Go make you some orange juice. I feel a little tip. Oh, I'm feeling kind of drained today. Like I said, let me go make this green juice to give me some energy. Let me go cut this pineapple up just to refresh myself. I just feel like I just need some refreshment. Your body will tend to just crave and tell you what you need.
That's a very good point.
Yes.
But to touch on that, tell them about testimonials from people that have been eating your food, like the changes.
Yes. I've had several ladies that have been on my program, eating my food properly and working and making a lifestyle out of it, meaning that outside of my food, they're still cooking vegan. Or some of them, they still may eat shrimp or something here and there, and they'll tell me, like I had some shrimp. I was like, well, what did your stomach say to you? It's like, girl, it told me I shouldn't have had it. But they have lost pounds, they have lost inches. They tell me how good they feel. One of my ladies, she actually is a cancer survivor. She does not only my meals but a lot of my juices. I do a lot of juices as well.
Okay.
To touch on raw juices, if you have an inflammation, you can drink some beet juice, carrots, ginger. Ginger is good for inflammation, and you're basically juicing all of these things raw, seeds and all. They'll tell me how they'll drink juices and they don't feel the inflammation in their knees anymore, how they can walk and farther than what they used to. Like I said, several of them have lost extreme amounts of weight. So it's a good lifestyle. It's a good lifestyle.
I know often food, like nutrition, is broken down into two different concepts. So you have more of your traditional concept, which is nutrition is based on the high intake of fiber and grains, versus your modern concept, which is focused on high consumption of meat, fats, oils, and sugars. Of course, these views of nutrition can be seen as either positive or negative in regards to the unprocessed foods from the traditional standpoint versus the highly processed foods from a modern perspective. Because just given just the history, there's pros and cons to everything. But in your opinion, how do traditional or modern nutritional concepts promote positive or negative health and outcomes?
Like you said, there's pros and cons to everything. And I'm big on lifestyle and finding what works for you. Mm-hmm. Traditional, like you said, with the grains and stuff like that versus all the meats and stuff, it just tends to be healthier for the body. And you may have people who eat meats that may disagree with me, saying that the more meats and sugars and stuff you have in the body, the more healthy you are. It's pros and cons to everything.
Often, whenever we make lifestyle changes, we change our habits, the biggest conflict we have is not with ourselves at times, but it could be with those that are closest to us, like our family and our friends.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about a journey, man, because as soon as my wife changes her diet, I change mine. It's just how it goes.
Exactly. And that's something that a lot of people, when they listen to this podcast, a lot of folk are going to be motivated. Like, you know what? I want to try something different, right? Then as soon as they think about trying something different, their significant other or their mama, somebody comes in like, hey, baby, you want to eat this? And it throws it all off. Or sometimes
holidays.
Exactly. Like, it's rough. Just imagine trying to make that change and it's at the beginning of November. So what would you suggest to an individual or family to, I guess, assist them with transitioning into either eating healthier or more, or having a more nutritious food life?
It's funny you mentioned about the family. When I first started my vegan journey, my parents, they gave me the down country, okay?
Yeah.
I can remember going to a meeting and they would be cooking all this food and I'd be like, did y'all make me something? No, you in your private lane now. Since you don't eat and stuff anymore. You in your own private lane. It's 9 a.m. in the morning. My mama talking about, I got some cucumbers in the refrigerator. For real, Mom, I want some breakfast. No grits, no nothing. So I tell people, if you're trying to make a decision, stay on that decision. So if you're going places and you're going to family and they might not agree with the lifestyle change you make, take your food with you. It's ways around it to stay on that journey. It's different things, YouTube channels. Like I said, Tabitha Brown, she's awesome in the vegan community. I'm going to start on Whack Me Vegan, getting more on my Facebook Live and my Instagram Live to just show people. Just do some research. It's so many ways to stay on that journey. And a lot of restaurants are adding plant-based to their menus too. Like I said, the world is waking up a little bit. So it's pretty easy, and if people trying to sway you, like, listen, I'm on a journey here. Can you help me or nah? So, and then once you start feeling good and they start seeing the change in you, they're going to tend to be like, hey girl, what you doing? What can you show me? And more people will jump on with you and help encourage you. Most people.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. And I think the funniest thing about it is when you do get on that journey just to healthier eating habits, or just trying to, just promote this for better health. Sometimes you may want to bring people along just to introduce people to different foods. And I think it's so funny, just the stigma, especially in our community, or it comes down to just trying different foods. I know that's something my wife and I laugh about all the time with her mother or my mother-in-law, because we definitely aren't vegetarian or even plant-based, but even with some of we eat a lot more vegetables than what my wife grew up eating. And we don't prepare meals in the same way she grew up preparing them, and I guess in the classic soul food tradition of it. So it's very interesting when we prepare meals or we eat certain things. Like, my mother-in-law just gets blown away just by the foods that we eat. Like, for example, we had blue potatoes, right?
Oh, those are good.
My mother-in-law never seen my mother-in-law never seen a blue potato in her life. She didn't know what it was, and it amazed her. She didn't eat it just because it was blue.
Right.
It's vitamins.
Yes.
Right.
It just having that conversation and explaining those things to her, it's like there's a steep learning curve. So it's like we got to try to encourage her as she's getting older to be more mindful of her health and to make better choices when it comes to eating.
Right.
But at the same time, it's that constant cycle of like educating and then trying to, at the same time, trying to control people into eating for their own benefit.
Right. And I try to have a lot of patience with people because I was one of those people. I remember where I came from. You couldn't tell me that I would eat zucchini. I'd be like, what? You couldn't tell me that I would eat onions. I didn't even eat onions growing up. I was like, onions? No way. I love them now. Tomatoes? Absolutely not. Brussels sprouts, eggplant, all kind of stuff that I eat. I would never in my wildest dreams think that I would eat this stuff, but it wasn't until I tried and it was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And that's, like you said, that's just a concept of our people, what we grew up on. we're just used to what we're used to. I remember one time I would go to a restaurant and my brother, he would pick at me. He said, "You always order chicken fingers and fries we're at a seafood restaurant." I was like, they can't mess up chicken fingers and fries. I just rather stick with what I know.
Well,
just afraid to try something new. So I try to be patient with people, and I ask them when I'm fixing their meals, I said, is there something you you just cannot tolerate? I said, other than that, try it. Don't knock it until you try it. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
That's very true.
I can attest to that. Posting pictures, posting LaShaundra's pictures of her food. Everybody DMs me like, "Oh my God, that looks so good. What's in that?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, you got to try it." Some people don't like the texture of some things, but how do you know until you try it? And then once I tried your food, I started naming stuff. I'm like, okay, so you put this in there. See if I can name everything in the dish to get familiar with the ingredients.
And I've had people, it's like, you know what? I never ate tomatoes until I ate this food. I couldn't even tell tomatoes was in there. You had so many different flavors. That's what I mean to do. Keep eating.
She will trick you. I'm telling you. She will put something in there. And I'm like, wait, was that? I never had that before.
Yeah. So don't knock it until you try it. Yeah.
Speaking of that Instagram page, and while we've been sitting here, I've just been sitting here flicking through some of these beautiful pictures of your food, getting more and more hungry.
That is so funny.
Also, follow I Am Tall Shawnee. That's my personal Instagram page, but I post a lot of my personal meals that I make for like dinner and friends and stuff. That's I Am Tall Shawnee. SHAUNI. And I try to put a lot of colors. I'm big. You said something about being a foodie earlier.
Yes.
I am most definitely a foodie. And like you said, when they make meat the center of the plate, where that's the most beautiful thing on the plate, I try to make the vegetables where that's the most beautiful thing on the plate. I mean, all these colors that catch your eye, and you'd be like, I have to try this because it's beautiful. Taste the rainbow. Taste the beautiful rainbow.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm looking right now. I'm very intrigued in this fish and grits.
Yes,
I see this spread.
Yes. Now that's back on our lines of the comfort food. Okay, I always have vegan junk food because sometimes I just want that comfort food. So but I tell people it's not boring. Look at there's so many things you can do, and people, that's a fish that's made out of a pea protein and soy protein. Okay. And you season it, you take the Obey seasoning and you put it on there, and it tastes just like a whiting fish fillet.
Okay.
So giving people that placebo,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I'm definitely, like I said, I saw that. I was like, I didn't even know you could I didn't even know you can make faux fish like that, vegan fish like that. That's awesome. Because of course, you always know like burgers, like you get the burgers, the bacon, like I get all those things in the chicken, but I never seen like the fish and grits set up like that. So that looked really awesome. But before we go, if anyone is interested in getting in touch with you, of course, for meal prep or even just to like ask questions in regards to what we talked about today, how would they reach out to you and connect with you?
Once again, you can reach out to me at Whack Me Vegan on Facebook or Instagram. You can DM me there. My personal Facebook is at LaShaundra Whack. You can also DM me on there as well. I have my business line. It's 803-873-1050. Feel free to call me, reach out to me. Like I said, it's not just about selling my meals. It's also about educating. So even if you just have a question of your own, how do I make some veggie spaghetti? All right, girl, I'll help you. All right, I got you. So those are the ways you can reach and contact me.
Awesome.
And on my Facebook, on my Whack Me Vegan page, if I don't get to you right away, I apologize. I always see the message and I'll get to you.
Perfect. Well, does anybody else have anything to say before we wrap up?
No, this was a great episode. I'm so happy I get to collaborate with my friends. This is a great opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Mike, you put us into some good education today, too. I appreciate it. You learn something new every day.
Honestly, this is This is right up my alley. I'm very into nutrition in our food and how our food is sourced and soil health and making sure that nutrition gets into our food the proper way. And I would love to have y'all back on maybe in season 2 and maybe have some discussions with some local farmers and such also. That'd be cool. That'd be a great
that would actually be a dope idea
thing to do.
Yeah, that would be. I appreciate you having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. We appreciate you being a guest because we're just getting started. This is our 8th episode.
Okay.
So we're just building it up. We have some more guests coming up every 2 weeks until the end of July. And then after that, we're going to take a break and we're going to start back over again. And if that's it, this is Skip with the Hilltop Glove Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you next time. Peace.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Stay woke.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.